Assalamu alaikum, peace be with you. I'm your brother in faith, Shabir Ally, speaking with you from the Muslim Media Hub. This Ramadan, we're dealing with faith and doubt, 30 big questions about belief. The question for us today is, are there intelligent beings, other than human beings, of course, out there in the universe? So let's deal with that question. It's an interesting one. Scientists, if we to first approach it from a scientific angle, they're in the search for intelligent life outside of our planet, and that means theoretically, at least, they think that it is possible. There has been a project called SETI, Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence, headed by Carl Sagan. That has been in the works for decades now, but nothing has turned up yet. I mean, they have sent out signals, hoping that some intelligent being somewhere there in the universe may pick it up and respond to us, and then we will know that such life exists. But we have not found any confirmations yet, though the search continues. And of course, scientists are combing the planets around us as far as they can reach, or the moons around us, to see if perhaps there's any trace of carbon that might suggest that life like our own once existed or has the potential to exist on some of these other heavenly bodies. But again, nothing definitive, though there are some indication of the possibility of life. But someone with intelligence who can communicate with us, no, not in the physical realm. Now, coming to the Islamic picture, we have a belief in angels, as people of other religions do as well. And angels are intelligent beings. They are, in a way, not part of our physical world, and yet they exist in a dimension that is, we can say, spiritual. And we believe that God, of course, exists, and God is not a physical being like we have in this world that we can see and feel and touch. Muslims also believe in the existence of the jinn kind. Of course, many Christians believe that there are some evil spirits as well, and the jinn kind for Muslims are a combination of good and bad. Some are good, some are bad, some are the evil spirits, including even Satan. So we believe in all of these different creatures that exist. And of course, with this in mind, it is possible for Muslims to conceive that there could be other creatures that are out there of a spiritual kind or some other kind. There could be other intelligent beings that are out there that are other than human beings. And how might they be? How different or similar they may be apart from the fact of intelligence? This is something that's beyond our imagination. But what are the indications in the Islamic faith that there could be such intelligent life out there? For one thing, the Quran begins with the first chapter, Surah Al-Fatiha, that says right at the top, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Praise be to God, the Lord of the worlds. Now notice that worlds here is plural. So we can think of our world, but this might only be one of many worlds. In fact, another verse of the Quran mentions 7 earths, and there could be even more earths than the 7, possibly. When we think from a scientific point of view about the possibility of many earths, indeed, scientists think our sun is just one star out of 100 billion stars in our galaxy, and there are 100 billion galaxies out there, so there could be, there are hundreds of billions of stars like our sun, and many of them have properties like our sun to sustain a system that could include a planet like our Earth, which is habitable for life. And so there could be a life like our own on many other planets out there, many Earths that are out there from a scientific point of view. And it's interesting that the Quran uses world here in the plural. Praise be to God, the Lord of the worlds. That's in the first chapter of the Quran, right at the top, the first or second verse of that chapter. Elsewhere in the Quran, we have mention of things like animals, creatures that traverse on the ground that worship God. In the 16th chapter of the Quran, the 49th verse, we read, وَلِلَّهِ يَسْجُدُ مَا فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ وَمَا فِي الْأَرْضِ مِنْ دَابَّةٍ وَمَلَائِكَةٌ وَهُمْ لَا يَسْتَكْبِرُونَ. To God prostrates whatever is in the heavens and the earth of creatures, and even the angels, the latter being not proud, or maybe all of them. They're not proud. They're not too proud to worship God. So now the mention of the creatures here, the dabba, this might be thought of to be connected with the earth, because it's more closely mentioned in relation to the earth in that statement, but it could also be connected to the mention of the samawat, the heavens. So it could be that creatures exist not only on this earth, but also in the heavens, and they are worshippers of God. And because the word dabba tends to mean something that is traversing on the earth, we might think of there being other earths out there with similar creatures. And of course, if there are creatures like these creatures here on earth, then probably there are something like intelligent human beings out there as well. Another verse of the Quran, Surah 74, verse number 31, says, وَمَا يَعْلَمُ جُنُودَ رَبِّكَ إِلَّا هُوَ. Only your Lord knows the full extent of his armies. His armies would mean, people who serve him, people who are there ready to, at his beck and call, to do his bidding. So that would be all of his servants. And nobody knows the full extent of these servants. So we cannot curtail the servants of God to be limited only to this world, but we can conceive of God's servants as being multiple, as being present perhaps on other planets, in other galaxies, or even other planets within our own Milky Way galaxy. Now, what has prevented some people from thinking that there could be other intelligent beings out there? Well, one idea is that, with the idea of atonement that is there in another faith, the centrality of this earth seems to be at the fore. But Islam does not have that concept of atonement. From the Islamic point of view, if we sin, we turn back to God in seeking our forgiveness of God, and seeking God's forgiveness for ourselves, and God is willing to forgive us. And so we can have a close relationship with God here on the earth, while at the same time there can be a good relationship between other people and other intelligent beings on other planets, also with God, and that is not affected. And this also answers the question in a way, but only briefly now for the moment, that why is God concerned with us? Like, if we are just one speck in the vast creation of God, why would God be concerned with us? Well, God will be concerned not only with us, but with all of his creatures on the Islamic perspective. So you see, this is a more comprehensive view. In short, we can say with confidence that it is possible that there are other intelligent beings out there that we don't know about, but God knows them. They are creatures of God, and they are all servants of God. And we see that Islam has here a very comprehensive view that ties together what we know from the Quran with what we know from scientific investigation. So that's all for today. Join me again tomorrow when we explore another one of the big questions about belief. I'm your brother in faith, signing off. And as I do, let me ask for your special prayers during this last third of the month of Ramadan. On these nights, I'm sure that you're more devoted to worship than ever before. I ask you to please pray for me, pray for our TV crew, pray for everyone at the Muslim Media Hub and the Hub itself, that it may be successful, and pray for the world, pray for the Ummah, the following of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, especially those who are suffering in Gaza and elsewhere. May God grant them relief from oppression and from every difficulty. Pray for all of those who are sick, that God may give them relief all over the world. Pray for all of those who have passed away from the Ummah of our beloved Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, that God may give them Jannah and Maghfirah, and give patience to their loved ones who are grieving for their passing. May God comfort them and wipe away their tears. Peace be with you, and the mercy and blessings of God. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Islam teaches us to spread goodness and truth, and media is one of the most powerful ways to do that. Support Muslim Media Hub to help spread the message of Islam across the world. Visit muslimmediahub.com.